What if you had to do the same meaningless task every day forever? What if you knew deep down that nothing you did really mattered? Now, let me ask you something else. What if that realization didn't have to make you miserable, but instead set you free? This is the story of Sisyphus, but more importantly, this is our story. Today, we're diving into Albert Camus's philosophy of the absurd, how we can find happiness in a meaningless world, and why Camus believes Sisyphus, yes, the guy doomed to push a rock forever, was actually happy. Because maybe, just maybe, we don't need meaning to be happy at all. From the moment we're born, we start looking for meaning. It's what humans do. We ask questions. Why are we here? What's my purpose? What's the point of all this? Some find comfort in religion, others in philosophy. Some chase wealth, relationships, success, anything to feel like life has a purpose. But deep down, there's this nagging question. What if life doesn't have a higher meaning at all? This idea makes most people uncomfortable. It's why existential crises exist. We don't want to believe that our struggles, our achievements, our dreams might be completely arbitrary. But here's the problem. When we seek meaning outside of ourselves, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And that's where Camus comes in. Instead of running from this question, he tells us to face it head on. So what exactly is the absurd? Camus describes it as the tension between two things, our deep desire for meaning and the universe's complete indifference to us. It's like we're asking the universe, what's the meaning of life? And the universe just stares back at us in silence. Camus says this realization is the absurd, and when people face it, they typically have three responses. 1. Denial. They cling to religion, ideology, or rigid beliefs that make them feel safe. 2. They give up entirely, believing life isn't worth living without meaning. 3rd rebellion. They embrace the absurd, accept that life has no inherent meaning, and choose to live anyway. Camus argues that the first two options, denial and escape, aren't real solutions. The only real choice is rebellion, to live in spite of the absurd. And this is where Sisyphus comes in. Sisyphus was a Greek king who defied the gods, not once, but twice. He tricked death, he refused to submit, and for that, he was punished. His fate? To push a massive rock up a hill, only for it to roll back down, again and again, for eternity. On the surface, this is the worst possible punishment. A task with no purpose, no progress, no end, just endless repetition. But Camus flips the story. He tells us we must imagine Sisyphus happy. How could someone doomed to an eternity of pointless struggle be happy? The answer is acceptance. Once Sisyphus stops resisting his fate, once he stops hoping for a different outcome, he becomes free. He no longer suffers because he no longer expects things to change. He embraces the absurd, and in that act, he finds happiness. Here's the big question. Can we really be happy without meaning? Society teaches us that happiness comes from success, love, or finding our purpose. But Camus challenges this idea. What if happiness isn't about finding something, but about choosing something? Happiness isn't found at the top of the hill, it's found on the way up. Just like Sisyphus, we can learn to find joy in the struggle itself. How to apply Camus's philosophy to daily life. First, let go of the search for the answer. Most people spend their whole lives searching for the ultimate answer to happiness. We think, once I figure out my life's purpose, then I'll finally be happy. Once I get my dream job, I'll be satisfied. Once I find the right partner, I'll feel complete. But Camus challenges this thinking. He tells us that there is no ultimate answer. The universe isn't going to hand us a neatly wrapped package labeled the meaning of life. At first, that might sound depressing, but in reality, it's liberating. Think about it. If there is no single, universal meaning of life, that means you're free. Free to create your own meaning. Free to define happiness for yourself. Instead of chasing an elusive external purpose, Camus invites us to embrace the uncertainty and find joy in simply being alive. How to apply this in daily life? Stop obsessing over what your one true purpose is. Instead of thinking about what you should be doing, ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing right now? Accept that uncertainty is a part of life, and that's okay. Let's say you're in a job you don't love. Instead of seeing it as meaningless, what if you focused on what you can get out of it in the present? Maybe it helps you develop skills. Maybe it lets you meet interesting people. Maybe it gives you the financial security to explore your passions outside of work. Once you stop looking for a higher purpose and instead focus on how to live well in each moment, you'll find more peace. 2. Find joy in the process, not the outcome. One of the biggest traps of modern society is outcome-based happiness. We're constantly told that happiness is something we'll get after we achieve something. I'll be happy once I finish school. I'll be happy once I buy a house. I'll be happy once I make 6 figures. But what happens when you reach those goals? The feeling of happiness is usually short-lived. You immediately move on to the next thing, constantly chasing a future that never comes. Camus teaches us that happiness isn't something we find at the end of the road. It's something we experience along the way. This is why he tells us to imagine Sisyphus happy. Sisyphus doesn't suffer because he has accepted his fate. He doesn't wait for the day his rock will stay at the top. He knows that day will never come. But instead of despairing, he finds joy in the act of pushing. He turns his struggle into his purpose, and we can do the same. How to apply this in daily life? Instead of seeing work, hobbies, or self-improvement as just a means to an end, focus on enjoying the process itself. Find meaning in the doing, not just the result. Stop living in a constant state of I'll be happy when, and instead ask, how can I enjoy what I'm doing right now? A musician doesn't find happiness in finishing an album. They find it in the act of playing music. A writer isn't happy when their book is published. They're happy because they love the process of writing. If you can shift your mindset from destination-based happiness to journey-based happiness, you'll live a much more fulfilling life. 3. Make peace with repetition. Life is full of repetitive tasks. Waking up, going to work, coming home, repeating it all the next day. Doing laundry, cooking meals, cleaning up, only to do it again tomorrow. Exercising, practicing a skill, making slow progress, and repeating. At first, this might seem boring or even frustrating, but Camus challenges us to look at it differently. Repetition isn't suffering. Repetition is mastery. Sisyphus isn't suffering because he stops seeing his task as a punishment. Instead, he makes it his own. In our lives, instead of resenting repetition, we can find power in it. The more we do something, the better we get at it. The more we accept it, the more at peace we feel. How to apply this in daily life? If you hate your daily routine, try reframing it as a chance to practice discipline and mastery. Instead of seeing chores or work as something to get through, see them as things to engage with fully. Recognize that greatness is built through repetition. A world-class athlete doesn't resent practice. They see it as a chance to perfect their craft. A great chef doesn't hate chopping vegetables. They embrace the rhythm of it. If you can make peace with repetition, life becomes much easier. 4. Laugh at the absurd. There's a reason that some of the happiest, most resilient people are the ones who can laugh at life's absurdity. Think about it. The most successful comedians are the ones who take life's struggles and turn them into jokes. The happiest old people are the ones who have learned to laugh at themselves. The people who deal with stress the best are the ones who don't take life too seriously. Camus suggests that humor is the ultimate rebellion. When life throws chaos at you, you can either get angry or you can laugh. How to apply this in daily life? Next time something frustrating happens, ask yourself, is this something I'll laugh about in a year? If yes, why not just laugh now? When things go wrong, instead of saying, "Why me?" try saying, "Of course this would happen to me," and smile. Find the absurdity in everyday life and embrace it. Imagine you spill coffee all over yourself on the way to work. You could get mad, ruin your whole morning, and stress about it. Or you could laugh, accept that life is weird and unpredictable, and just move on. If you can learn to laugh at life, you become untouchable. So, what does this all mean? Camus' philosophy isn't just about accepting the absurd, it's about thriving within it. If we can stop searching for external meaning, find joy in the process, embrace repetition, and learn to laugh at life's chaos, we can truly live. The modern world constantly tells us that we need a reason to be happy. Camus tells us, you don't. Just be happy anyway. Think about the people who truly embody this philosophy. These are the modern Sisyphuses, people who struggle, but find joy in the struggle. So, what if I told you that life is meaningless, and that's the best news you'll ever hear? Because if life has no inherent meaning, that means you're free. Free to create your own meaning, free to laugh at the absurd, free to find joy in the smallest moments. Sisyphus isn't suffering. He's alive, he's engaged, he's free, and you are too.